They say that this bike has a max range of up to 74 miles and a top speed of 50. They claim that the charger that is inside of this box will take its massive battery from dead to full in just 3 hours. Now these are just a few of the many claims that they have about this Eahora Knight m1ps electric motorcycle that we are going to be putting to the test in today's video. So I'd really quickly like to mention that this box weighs 270 pounds, which is just insane. I'm pretty sure the bike itself is only supposed to weigh about 170. So what the hell is in this box that makes it weigh so much? I'm not kidding. This is most people's deadlift PRs. And I'll tell you what, it took a struggle from 2 grown men, me and the delivery driver, to get this thing into my house. This thing is insanely heavy. But anyways, I'm ready to open this thing up and see why it weighs so damn much. Woo! All right, so we got this whole thing. Had to get all that cardboard out of there because it was just getting to be too much. But man, this thing is looking really cool. I want to show you guys this front wheel here. I was not expecting it to be as big as it is, but look at this. And one thing you'll notice about this bike is that the rotors are actually attached to the outside and not the inside of the axle, which is interesting because that's how basically every other bike comes, but this is a super unique design. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is just look at the sheer size of this rear wheel. Look at my hand compared to this thing. It is probably at least 8 inches across. Like, this is basically a car tire that they have on the back of this thing. Like, what is this sorcery? This is just insane. Place on these handlebars, get these bad boys screwed in. Hell yeah. All right, so after some soul searching, I sort of figured it out. You're supposed to actually prop this bike up or maybe use a proper stand, but I got this little milk crate here. I'm gonna put it up and then I'm just gonna slide that tire on, get that axle in, and hopefully we can turn this thing on and check it out. You hear my, whew. Okay, go ahead, put this wheel on here. All right, so I got this bike unboxed and fully assembled, and I just gotta say, this is one of the coolest looking bikes that I've ever got the privilege to review on this channel, and I don't really need to explain why this thing looks cool. You already know. I mean, it's an electric cruiser. Come on, this thing looks amazing. One thing that's jumping out at me here is that they have basically all the heavy electronics down on this lower deck area over here. We have our battery. I presume our controller is down here, as well as our charge port, which is massive, and I can't wait to take a look at that later in the video. Now, after doing a little research on this bike, before we can even turn it on, we have to plug in the battery, which they leave unplugged during shipping, presumably just for safety reasons. So using this key right here, we're gonna go ahead and open up this battery box. By the way, this key right here is awesome, and it has a super cool feature that we're gonna be going over later in this video. We just go ahead, stick in this little key slot right here, give that a twist, and then we can, oh, there we go. So now we can go ahead, take this off, and we got our battery. We have this little battery connector here. There's also a circuit breaker right here. So I presume we plug in the battery first, just like that, flip this circuit breaker, and we should be all good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this back on. Gotta line up the slots here. And that thing is locked. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually sit on this thing, just experience this thing firsthand. Definitely a much different feeling than a lot of the electric bikes and electric motorcycles I've gone over on this channel in the past, like the Sur-Ron, like the Tudio Solio 1. Even the smaller electric motorcycles are gonna have a higher seat height than this thing. So it's a totally different realm of bike than I'm even used to. I mean, just look how laid back this thing is. I'm gonna take this key here. We're gonna go ahead, turn this bike on. Check out the display, check out the controls here. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and turn this bad boy on, and boom, look at this display here, guys. It's super bright and it's pretty big too. Look at it compared to my hand. I got big hands and this thing is coming right up on it. Probably about the size of my palm here, as you can see. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be adjustable. This thing is locked into the frame, but I'll show you from my point of view what it looks like when I'm sitting on this bike. And as you can see, I'm still able to read the information just fine. So I don't really think that's gonna be too big of an issue. Another thing that you can see here is that these handlebars are loaded up with controls here. There is so much to go over. Fortunately for me, I like having a lot of controls because it makes me feel important. Anyways, I'm gonna go over these for you guys. I'm gonna start with the right, then we're gonna work our way over to the left. So first off, of course, we got our throttle, which is really nice. I actually like this throttle a lot. It's got a nice little grip pattern on here. I have no real issues with it. A lot of people tend to have issues with the grips that come on their bikes, especially if they're sort of simplistic like this. And they're like, oh, these grips suck. But for me, I mean, they're fine. I like this. Over here, we have a very important button for safety, the hazard light. When we switch that on, as you can see, all of our blinkers go on simultaneously. So the front and the back. This bike does a little freak out here, so everybody on the road knows that you're having an issue. Over here, we have our light switch, which seemed to be turned on right out of the box. You can see we have our zero mode. This is like a little halo mode, which you can't really see on the wall, but it's there, believe it or not. And then we have our brights mode, which is the mode which I like to keep on all the time so that cars can see you on the road. We have a mode button here, which will take us from mode 1 to mode 2 to mode 3. Turn this thing off because it's getting a little annoying. Over here, we got our bright switch. Now this is epic. This gets super bright, so everybody on the road is gonna be able to see you. Honestly, like I was saying earlier, you should have your headlights set to this all the time so that everybody can see you on the road. Because believe it or not, even if it's the middle of the day and you're clearly visible, people will just ignore you like you're not even there and pull out right in front of you. So make sure you're blinding those mother. Over here, we got our turn signal switch, which we can switch just like that. You can see on our nice bright display, it shows up there. We're gonna go ahead, do the left. We got our horn. And then once this thing goes into park mode, which I'm gonna wait for it to do that. There we go. We got our park button to disengage that. Boom. Now we can twist this throttle and go. Oh. All right, guys, so it's the next morning. I got a long day ahead of me of riding this bike, testing it out, and making sure it's the real deal. I'm gonna be hopping on this bike for its first test ride, going over a couple speed modes, 1 through 3. Then we're gonna attempt to do a top speed run, see how fast we can get this bad boy to go. I'm actually gonna be meeting up with a friend at the gym right now, so I am going to be leaving this bike outside for an extended period of time on its own. And the reason I'm comfortable with doing this is because I actually discovered a super cool security feature that this bike has, which I'm gonna show my friend in just a moment. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and gear up because safety is very important. While I'm gearing up here, just a quick reminder to make sure to go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a nice comment down below this video. It helps me out more than you think it does. So without further ado, let's hop on this bike and get on the road. Alrighty, so we got this thing going. I am in speed mode 1 at the moment, and if you can see on the speedometer, it says we're going 19 miles per hour, which I'm gonna wanna GPS verify in a bit because sometimes these speedometers can be way off. I'm hoping due to the very expensive price of this bike that it's gonna be accurate for us, but this isn't very thrilling at all. So we're gonna go ahead and bump this up to speed mode 2. Oh, it's a massive shift. I'm thinking that they have speed mode 1 there just for people to kind of have like a walking the bike speed mode or whatever, if you get what I mean, but it's not really meant to be used on the roads and stuff. But yeah, interesting. They give you a huge leap in speed once you get into that second speed mode here. So we're heading out at 37 miles per hour. I'm gonna keep the throttle pinned. Usually through here, somebody likes to cut me off, so I'm always looking from side to side, making sure that nobody's gonna come out and hit me. So yeah, it looks like this tops out at 37. We might have enough room here to bump it up into mode 3 and see how fast we can get this thing to go. Let's see. Is anybody gonna cut us off? We got a little turn here. We're going 43, 44. Now, one thing that I kind of want to bring up at this point is that we're actually on the lower end of the battery. It looks like we're at about 50%, maybe a little bit lower. So this might be like a 50% top speed test, to be honest. I think I'm gonna come up on a nice road up here in just a second where I can pin this throttle, get into a crouch position, and hopefully get a nice top speed. 42, 43, 44, gonna get tucked. 45, come on, 46. 47, woo! Okay, 47 miles per hour, not bad. Now this thing could for sure hit 50. It just kind of has lower battery life right now. And I feel like this guy with a car next to me is trying to race me. All right, so I'm gonna put my bike right here. I see you brought your own electric motorcycle.
Oh my lord.
Hey, yes. What I wanted to show you was a little feature that this thing has.
Okay.
And it's a security feature. I think it's really cool.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the key out. Sometimes it doesn't want to come out.
I understand.
Okay, so this thing has a key fob right here.
Yep.
So what I do is I press this button.
Yep.
And I discovered this last night, and I'm like, it's like my favorite thing. Okay, so you're just walking down the street and you see this bike and you want it.
Oh, check this bad boy out.
Ooh, try to roll it away. Try to roll it away.
Oh my god.
Try to roll it away. You're thinking, no, you're trying to roll the bike away.
Oh.
You're thinking it's not too late and I can take the bike now.
Okay, I can make it.
There's resistance.
Oh, wait. Oh. I can't roll it back.
Hey, everybody knows you're stealing this bike right now. You can't get away. Isn't that kind of fire?
That is pretty fire. How much is this thing?
Guess.
3K.
Oh.
5K.
Probably cost them 3K to build it. Yeah, it's 5K.
5K? Okay.
Yeah.
How
All right,
fast?
RJ, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna hit the gym.
We're gonna hit the gym.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to highlight here is that while I was doing gym things with my friend RJ, I was comfortable with leaving this bike outside unattended because of the security features that came with this bike. And I'll tell you that with any other bike, I would not feel comfortable doing this.
All right, RJ, it's still there.
Yeah.
All right, bro, that was a good workout. Oh.
Good workout.
Oh, shoot. Oh, Jesus.
Good to get wrong hand.
All right, bye, RJ. There he goes. All right, so I was watching a video by this guy. His channel's name is Juice Joyride, so make sure to go ahead and check out his channel once you're done with this video. But apparently, if you take this bike downtown or to a populated area, people will swarm it asking all sorts of questions just because it's that cool. So I'm interested to see if this is gonna work for us, see if we can get any fish on the hook. So we are headed downtown. Look at this Porsche, dude. Not only this dude from Alaska. I wonder why somebody would get Alaskan plates for their Porsche. Is it a tax thing? Or are they actually just from Alaska? What are you gonna do with a Porsche in Alaska? Off-road it? This thing's too clean to be from Alaska. Unless it's from Anchorage. They're a bunch of sissy liberals over there. Are you selling those hummingbird things?
He is right there.
He is right there. Those things are cool, man.
Thank you.
How do you make those?
Magic with a bunch of elves and dwarves.
A little bit of pixie dust?
Yeah, a little bit. A couple pinches.
There you go.
Some hobbits.
You gotta be on some pixie dust to make some of those, man.
How fast does this thing go?
Goes about 50. Yeah.
So this would be a class 3 bicycle or is it a motorbike?
It would be a motorbike. Yeah. I just got it. Or you buy them online, you unbox them. So I got it out of the box. I haven't really got it registered or anything. I'm just riding around, but I plan on doing that in a little bit.
No chance I can try this?
I'll let you sit on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to feel it.
You would like to feel it for sure. Yeah, it's a
Motorcycle rider from way back.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Doesn't quite feel right. The handlebars would have to be farther back for me.
I mean, if you want to take it, honestly, if you want to take it up and down the...
Can I go on the bike path?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Hope you don't steal my bike.
I won't. This is my stuff. You know.
I trust you, buddy.
Okay, throttle is the normal throttle?
Yeah, to take it, it's probably in park mode right now.
No,
Or
it
actually,
goes, it goes.
Okay, so if it goes into park mode, you just press that button right there, the
I
P
got
button.
it. Okay, thanks. I'll be back
There
in
you
a
go.
second.
All right, look at this guy. I've got his hummingbirds as collateral. Guys, I think he stole my bike. So then these are what you're selling. You got earrings and stuff.
Did you see my abalone seams?
Oh, look at these. Wow, those are pretty.
I used to be married before I met my husband here to an abalone diver.
Mmm.
And so at that time I was fresh out of art school, so I hit the ground running. I had all the supply and all the creativity, and I started making these.
Oh, here's the guy coming back with my bike. Let's see what he thinks of it. I'll come back to this.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think it's great. The acceleration is what I expected, but it's great.
It's great. You like it? Nice, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
You're a trusted fellow. You're living with your phone too.
if you're a motorcycle driver, I trust you on it. So, and you got collateral right here.
I do. Yeah, my friend Linda.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
All right, man. Yeah, no
Here,
problem.
let me show you a picture. This is kind of like ancillary to what you're saying, but I was just showing Linda this morning. This is me.
Oh, look at that. That's badass.
I'm one of those characters.
Oh, you're riding wild. Which one are you? I'm assuming that one.
Without the shirt on.
There you go. Heck yeah, man. Where's that? Up in Cali?
Big Sur.
Big Sur?
Thank
All
you.
right. What's your name?
Lenny.
Lenny. Nice to meet you. I'm Tommy.
Look, I don't have to worry about burning my foot on the exhaust.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to worry about with those bikes. You got to have some thick boots.
It's true. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, man.
I can't see your face. It's okay.
That's what I look like.
Okay, thanks.
All right, man. Have a good one.
That was fun.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, hey, buddy. Go ahead. Okay. Actually, it's red now, so. Oh, you're going the same way? All righty. I guess not.
Where'd you get that?
Where did I get this? You buy them online.
What's it called?
It's called Eahora. Yeah.
Eahora.
Yeah, that's the dealership's name, or that's where they sell them from online, but they make them from a company called Mangosteen.
That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it is pretty cool looking.
It is electric, right?
It's electric, yeah. So, I mean, it's great for around town. You can, hear everything. I guess it's a little more dangerous because cars can't hear you, but
Oh, yeah?
that's the trade-off. It's good fun, You a motorcycle guy?
No.
No, not at all.
No, well, in the past, yeah, for sure, but I like the new stuff. I like all this new electric stuff.
Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Like,
Mike?
Yeah.
That's my dad's name. Nice to meet you. I'm Tommy.
Tommy,
Yep.
drive fast.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here.
So we know that the old men love the bike, but what about the old women?
I think you're be here with that.
I'm just checking stuff out. Just walking it.
Don't speed up.
No, I won't speed up.
Okay.
Hi. Go ahead.
There's a bike path back there.
I'm just walking it. Alrighty, so that was a successful little outing. We got a lot of interest in this bike, especially from some of the older guys. This thing probably got them reminiscent over their old Harley days. Anyways, I'm gonna be range testing this bike in just a minute. We're gonna go home, plug this bike in, and I actually have a few things that I wanna say about this bike. So while it's charging, we're gonna go over those things. All right, boys, so after that, we got this thing plugged in. Shouldn't be that long till this thing comes to a full charge, considering that the charger on this outputs 13 amps per hour and the battery on this bike is 40 amp hours, meaning that factually from dead to full this battery should charge in around 3 hours. Considering that it's about 40% to 50% full right now, we should expect this thing to be all charged up in about an hour and a half, which is just crazy. I think this is a great charger that they have on this bike, and I think it should be the standard for more bikes to have great chargers. Now, so far, this bike is feeling really good, super smooth. I like how low the center of gravity is. Like, this little bottom unit here is just a tank. I mean, you have all of the electronics and kind of steel tubing going through here. Of course, your battery is sitting in here. So it just creates this really nice low center of gravity. And on top of that, with all of that being said, this is a really well put together bottom piece for this frame. I mean, the whole area here just looks nice and sealed. There's no like excessive welding marks or anything. It just looks good. It looks high quality. Now, right now, what I've noticed is that I feel like these foot pegs could snap out just a little bit harder, because I feel like if I try to stand up on them or anything, they sometimes can go and fold in a little bit easily, and makes me feel a little bit unsteady, but overall they're pretty decent. They got good grip on them and everything, so I don't have too many complaints about that. One more complaint that I actually have so far, and it's a very small thing, but it's also kind of like a come on, like how does that even happen, is the front fender doesn't seem to fit right here. I guess I'll put a clip of what I'm talking about on the screen. But it seems like the forks actually scrape on the front fender, and it's causing these little gaskets here to come off of the front forks. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it might actually require me to go in there and shave off a little bit of this front fender, which is a shame because it's a really nice front fender. So this is where I also wanted to talk about something close to home, modding capabilities with this bike. Now, maybe from a first glance you don't really see it, but to me, I see modding potential written all over this bike, and it's for a few reasons. One, you got this massive gap in the inside of the frame, and a lot of bikes that have a gap like this, they sort of have this issue where it's like, oh, the battery, it like plugs into a slot or something, and you don't really have much room to like upgrade the battery. But this one, underneath this little battery cover here, pretty much just sits in a tray. So if you just had a bigger battery that could kind of fit in there, you could slide a battery that's at least twice as big. Like, you could really upgrade the range on this battery, or maybe you can add another battery in parallel just to sort of extend this range, which is something that hopefully I'm going to get the opportunity to do with this bike. Now, of course, I haven't even done the range test yet, and I'm talking about range. From what I've seen from people, it doesn't really have the greatest range on this bike. We've yet to see with my riding style, but that's just what I've heard. But they do offer a lot of room here for you to actually upgrade the battery, which I think is really cool. I'm gonna sit down because I have terrible knees for somebody my age. That's what basketball does to you. Now, if I wasn't actively trying to charge this bike at the moment, I'd probably open this bike up and take a look at the controller unit and maybe see if it's programmable or see how much room we have for an upgrade controller. But maybe we're gonna save that for another video just because I want this thing to charge up so we can go on this great range test. I'd also like to mention the motor on this thing is huge, and it definitely could accept more power. It's a 4,000 watt motor. It's massive. It's actually like probably the biggest motor that I've seen on an e-bike or electric motorcycle. And I mean, if you were to upgrade the battery, upgrade the controller, you could keep the same motor and maybe run this thing up to like 10,000 watts. It's a 4,000 watt motor, but if you had, you know, a controller battery setup that could reach 10,000 watt peak power, this motor would probably be able to handle it pretty well. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead, rest up, and get ready for my range test.
As you all know, the first step to doing a proper range test is packing your bag with all of the goodies you could possibly need on your harrowing journey. So I was leaving my house with a full charge and something for this bike to prove. They say that the range of this bike varies from 35 to 74 miles, and to be honest, although I was hoping for the best, I fully expected this bike to achieve the lower end of that spectrum. We must keep in mind that this was a pretty minimum range test, which means I was trying to get it done as fast as possible, so actions that burn through battery like full throttle were not out of the cards for me. So the first 30% of the ride was basically completely uphill. This is where we actually drained about 50% of the battery, but it was worth it because once we got to the top, these were the types of views that we were experiencing.
A little bit better for us. Oh, this is the best part of the ride right here. See, this is amazing. This is what this ride's all about. This part right here, in particular, soaking it all in.
Now at this point we were starting to leave the pass and we'd actually gotten down to about 1 out of 9 bars. It was fluctuating, but on the way back down we used our regen braking to our advantage to gain back a little bit of our battery. Also on the way down I saw a whole bunch of fire trucks and law enforcement coming up the mountain, which I thought I should mention. I really wanted to go back up to the top of the mountain, but because I was running so low I really did not want to risk it.
We got the law enforcement. More law enforcement, look at that. We're 27 miles in, still a lot of this route is gonna be downhill. But you can see when we're actually on the throttle, we are at 1 bar, which means we are getting pretty low.
So at this point, I was actually aborting my original plans. I was planning on going all the way across the mountains and back to my house, which would be all the way across town. But the way I was looking, I don't know if I was going to make it.
You liked it? Huh? Electric, yeah. Okay, so the battery's low, but we're still getting speeds in excess of 45 miles per hour, which is impressive because a lot of bikes, you know, they get to a low power and they're not able to reach the type of speeds that you're looking for. Let's hope my friends are home and they'll let me charge. Here we go. Somebody here? Yolanda, it's Tommy. It's Tommy. Okay, so I'm wondering if I can use an outlet for a bit because I was doing a range test on this bike and I'm kind of like running really low.
So they were nice and they let me use an outlet to charge my bike back up. And guess what I got on this bad boy? 32 miles. Was a little bit disappointed, to be honest. They did claim between 35 to 74. I feel like you should at least get their minimum range. But to be honest, for me, it wasn't too bad because I will never go 32 miles on an individual ride. That's usually pushing it for me.
So who the heck is this bike for? Honestly, who's buying this bike? And I think I've come up with a few different people, a few different situations for why somebody might want to buy this bad boy. So listen up, because one of these might be you. First off, we have the hardcore city commuter, somebody who wants a stylish, reliable, safe bike that they can use to commute to and from work or to wherever they need to go, such as the gym. This bike is action-packed for that type of stuff. It has all of the lights, it's got the mirrors, it's got a nice bright display, it has the security features, and not only that, it looks freaking cool. On top of that, because it's electric, you don't gotta worry about gas. You can take this thing to work, plug it in, and by the time you come out, actually long before you come out, it's gonna have a full charge, which is just badass for somebody who wants to use an electric motorcycle to get around town. Next up, and this one hits close to home, we got the modifier. Now this bike is the perfect bike for modifications, and I'll tell you why. First off, this thing is super high quality. So let's say you're like me. You wanted to buy this bike so that you can use it, have your fun with it, because out of the box, honestly, this thing is badass. And then you decide, okay, you want a better bike, you want it to be a little bit faster, you want it to look cooler. Well, because it's so high quality, a few years from now, you're still gonna have a pretty brand new feeling bike that you can modify to your heart's content. The reason this thing would be easy to modify is because it's simple. You have all of your electronics down here, you can put in a bigger battery or put in a second battery in parallel to this one to extend the range. The motor on this bike is 72 volts, 4,000 watts, so it's huge. You could definitely run a lot more power through it without actually replacing the motor. There's a whole bunch of space in this deck for a bigger controller that can handle more power. I mean, this thing is just made for modifying. There's actually a whole community of modifiers out there who like to modify these bikes. It's honestly mostly cosmetic stuff. I've seen a lot of these bikes modified to sort of have like a rustic look. I've seen leather bags and windshields on people's Eahora m1ps's. So I'm telling you, this is the perfect bike for people who are looking to modify theirs. Now I'm gonna be making a lot more content on this bike in the future. So if you're here for that, make sure to go ahead, hit that like button, leave a nice comment down below, and most importantly, subscribe so that you can get notified when I post about this bike again. And without further ado, I'll see you soon in the next one. Later.